Hello, I review this film again, but I'm reviewing look, forget I'm just going to make things confusing. I'm doing my review, so forget whatever I said before. This is my review on Alien vs. Predator, the first one from 2004. So these, victims are getting killed by the aliens, not the predator kind, but just the aliens kind. Both of them are aliens, but one calls them aliens, but one's called the alien race, and one's called the predator race. But they're both aliens. These people get on a mission. Main protagonist is some sort of black girlish names I forget, but it's not the reason why probably why most people pay to see this film. They just want to see the alien versus predator fight and kill lots of people. The alien does, and they do fight, but the alien fights the predator to has a we're going to only see that. That's only going to happen. We see that more in the sequel that no one really likes to, and the predator and the alien killing people and more in the sequel. And so more coherent story in a sequel, even though it's not as complex or as smart as it was and compared to the first one, and both of them have fairly dumb plots. Like, I'm about to get into the plot, but yeah, so I honestly one people that say that this sequel is the superior film in every way. And even though the plot is a lot dumber than the first one. Well, for one, what makes it instantly improved is that the sequel is R-rated, while this one is PG-13 censored. The generic version, what you expect your typical alien film to be like. Actually, I noticed that more alien films in the past, Predator and Aliens are the only films that get an R rating that I know of. If the ones that have a franchise on the top of my head. So the fact that they put them in the norm rating category for PG-13, you guess that you don't get to see any decapitation or limbs missing from other people, or the aliens pop out of the human's chest. You don't get to see any of that cool creative stuff. So we mostly realize that good chunk of the film is it's explaining that the predators are not the villains, but the heroes of the human race. Clearly, because that doesn't make any sense. Because apparently this is relating to the film. This is ancient prophecy. Every 10,000 or thousands of years, the predators fight for the survival of the human race and the rights to keep the human race safe. While the alien predators, the alien creatures, start to fight for the right to extinguish the human race. As in terminate, as in kill, as in exterminate all human life for planet Earth. And they only fight for one planet, not their own, just one, and that is Earth. Okay, so my God, that is stupidest thing I've ever heard. Wait, if the Predators are supposed to be good guys, why the fuck did he kill all of Army's men in the first Predator movie and went to New York, and then another Predator goes to New York to kill a bunch of more people? and the sequel Predators, and the sequel to Predator. And why did the Predators the human race in the third Predator movie, that was a much better film than this, and to a much coherent story that made a lot more sense and a lot less stupid than both Alien movies. And the title was called Predators. The aliens, Predators, not the aliens, the Predators, sends the human race to a different planet so that they can hunt them one by one. And the aliens have to not the aliens, the humans have to outsmart the Predators, and this group of humans that don't really get along has to survive against the Predators, killing them. And there's this one Predator that decides to buy the humans protects the humans some time because he hates his own kind because they hanged him and were going to kill him, or this one started, but he ended up getting decapitated. Yes, so this is where the Predator and wait. So in the last Predator movie, that's just called The Predator, we have this Predator fighting for the human race and this Predator fighting to destroy the human race. So the movie doesn't say that some Predators are evil. This movie, Alien vs. Predator, and some Predators are loyal warriors for the human race. It says, literally tells you all Predators, that's because that's what they have always done, and they leave out the whole hunting the human race in the past and future films, and that's what most of them do. It's really stupid. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So anyway, these group of victims, all except one survive our main protagonist. So our main protagonist gets her group killed because they're doing research in this temple, and then the Predator of this movie saves the girl, and once he sees her in action. Once he gets saved from the alien, he gives her the mark of a warrior and make him an honorary Predator. And so and the Predator wins the last fight between this giant queen alien and the Predator. The Predator wins, but not with the girl's help, because the girl really helped, did more of the working, while Predator did more of the getting his ass handed to him. But because we don't want to see a really cool badass Predator go up one of the cool iconic characters in history, go up with another iconic character in history called Alien. We want to see a girl go up an alien because that's more exciting. Anyway, the Predator ends up being mortally wounded, and turns out an alien was in the Predator's chest, so the alien pops out of the Predator's chest, and in the sequel it becomes a Predator and alien hybrid for some unexplained reason. The alien that pops out of the Predator's chest. That this movie ends on. Oh, and the girl, that main protagonist in this film, doesn't return for the sequel, so making her character development completely pointless. And so that is Predator. I think this could have been better for what we got. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't. I think you really need the. I feel like I can't help but feel like this would have felt more like classic Predator, classic Alien, like the good old days, like when we saw Alien Predator on the big screen. You know, when everyone generally liked those characters, like these guys, which was the first two Alien films and the first two Predator films when people really liked them. Then the people started making all Predator films and Alien films a mixed bag, and the same goes for Alien vs. Predator. So, which those films, none of the films, no, there's not a single bad Predator film or a bad Alien film, but some of them are stupider and lazier than the others. This scene feels like the most stupidest and lazy. This feels like, okay, it's not stupid and lazy. It's not lazy. It feels like it's the stupidest one because it feels like it's trying too hard to be smart and creative for a Predator franchise or for an Alien franchise. It just, like, I don't know why, but are we really supposed to buy the Predators or the good guys? Because I'm not. They're literally a predators. It's in their name. It's in their name. Predators are the people that hunt people. That's why they call it predator. But we're supposed to be that the predators that his kind are traditionally the good guys. That doesn't sound right at all. But that is what happens in this film. We are told that the predators are the warriors for the human race. How do we find this out? Well, explained by this archaeologist that does translating on this, and while they're in the tomb, it reads about this prophecy between the alien and the predators, and to figure out what the heck's going on. That was, and they realized that the prophecy is what they're running from. The alien and the predator. Because in the middle of the whole prophecy fighting for the human race. Isn't this exactly what you guys wanted to see in an Alien vs. Predator movie? Over complex story that makes you question if the makers of the films ever watched any Predator films, or at least the first two. Actually, there was only 2 out at the time, in 2004, for a standalone Predator film. So these didn't. When you see this film, you enjoy, but you also are asking a question. Did these guys, makers of the film, any of them at all, watch the first 2 Predator films? And another thing that I have for complaint was that it's a little bit of a complaint, but I'm going to acknowledge it because this film didn't please me like the sequel. I have mixed feelings, but I still think it's awesome enough to watch as his own standalone thing, and has his own thing, even though it's really kind of out of the Predator's nature to be the hero. So another thing I noticed that the Predators built like Brock Lesnar and from WWE from years ago, way back in 2000, instead of classic Predator. And for some reason, he looks like a mutated version of the classic Predator and WD's Brock Lesnar. And the design just doesn't look right like it did in the sequel. it doesn't look bad. It looks cool and all, but it doesn't. You don't feel nostalgic when you see him on screen like you do with Alien. Probably because he looks as much like classic as Matthew Broderick's Godzilla looks like classic Godzilla. Yep, I'm going there. If Alien vs. Predator from this film looks as much like classic Predator from the first Predator films as much as Matthew Broderick's Godzilla from the classic Godzilla films. Except when his mask is off. Predator takes his mask off and you suddenly feel more nostalgia. That's probably because you can. It's like I don't know why, but this mask has this weird pro wrestling design to it. Instead of looking more like Alien, it looks more makes the character Predator's skull look more like pro wrestling than an actual Predator's skull alien from another world. That has. I think it's either the. I think it's. Look, I feel like the way and Predator has most of the time he has his mask on for a good chunk of majority of the film. So Predator, when he has his mask on, I can't help but question the design choice. Like, what was going through their heads when they designed that? And that's I'm also on this concern because it looks the masks, how the design looks, mask looks very, very low like the Predator. Makes them it makes it hard to tell, hard for you. It makes the mask doesn't look like the classic design mask that's in pretty much every Predator film, including Alien vs. Predator Requiem. The mask doesn't look like classic Predator design that goes all the way back to the first Predator movie. It looks like they were trying to create something new, and with the Predator design, with his bulky armor and bulky Predator mask, and it didn't really work. And I'm glad that this was the last time we saw that Predator design for this movie, because I'm just going to say this is my least favorite Predator design, right next to the movie, right next to that's in the movie called The Predator, the most recent one, not the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but the one that came out recently. That's the more recent one at the time, called The Predator. When we have this seriously big, massive Predator that looks like he takes steroids, and I can't help but feel like that Predator looks somehow more classic Predator than the Predator that we had seen in this movie called Alien vs. Predator, the first one from 2004. So, probably because, I don't know, something about the armor that makes him look more bulky. And when the more bulkier the Predator is, the less I can imagine him being really quick and getting around. Because usually, I don't know, it's just that so far, it's just like, I feel it's okay, I'm doing a lot of pausing in my sentences, so that's getting kind of annoying to me. So, I don't know why people keep on trying to make a bulky Predator instead of just giving us the classic Predator design that we all know and love for the later films. And I'm just going to say my three favorite Predator movies is Alien vs. Predator Requiem. I like Requiem more than the movie Predators, which is the one I mentioned for review earlier on. The humans stranded on this planet and the Predators are hunting them. I like Requiem a lot more than Predator Alien vs. Predator Requiem. I'm going to say my three favorite Predator films of all time. And these aren't even really any order, I don't think, because I'm a little tired, so it's hard to think right now. So, here we go. The first original movie called Predator. Predator 2 and Alien vs. Predator Requiem. Because I gotta take my victories when I can't get the classic Predator look. So, yeah. And I don't know why, but something about the classic Predator look, the fact, you know, his muscle are built, but he's a little lean, with makes this with this cool high-tech mask, but he doesn't have armor all the way over his body like he did in the first Alien vs. Predator movie. I don't know why, but it makes it more. Something about it makes it look more intimidating, and you feel like there's more. You feel like there's something that makes it look more intimidating, and something that also makes it look more badass, and just all a better design for the classic, for the ones that have the same classic design in these three films called Predator, Predator 2, and Alien vs. Predator. I just really wish that for a future Predator film, or if there's a third Alien film, I wish they stopped trying to be creative with the Predator designs, because most of them, what's the word? Sucks. I mean, not sucks as the suck, but the kind of suck that feels underwhelming compared to what you had before. Sort of like Heath Ledger's Joker, like it's sucked compared to what you had before, which was Jack Nicholson's. It's just not as cool, or leaves you good as impression in your head, like from before. Let's go for the Heath Ledger's Joker and try and be creative with the Predator, versus Jack Nicholson's Joker and going with the classic Predator look that goes all the way back to the first Predator movie ever made, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, my answer, that this gets a 7 out of 10. It's somewhere between awesome and average. It's above average, it's way above average. It's not above, it's before. It's not awesome, but somewhere between awesome and average. So the reason why because I have two serious complaints. Like, this film, this lies to you for newcomers, saying that the Predators are the good guys and fight for the human race's life, and it will just confuse people when they go back to watch the first two Predator films. I can imagine they're going to be a little confused on why the Alien vs. Predator lied to them about the Predator's nature. And number two is the Predator's design, the all armor, covering his body from head to toe in armor. It's just, I don't know, it looks a little much. Way too much, I think. So, even if you don't like Requiem, I don't want to hear you say it sucks if you like this movie. But if you want to say they both suck, That's fine with me. But if you say that Requiem sucked higher than the first Predator film, I will fight you on this. I'll get in a fist fight, or if you want me to, but I'm going to give it me proving my point right, because you're not allowed to have a different opinion if you're not allowed to. There's a limit to what you're allowed to have your own opinion, but to a certain extent. Not where it means to making really stupid decisions of a movie that's not that great, and saying that the sequel wasn't that great, therefore, but it wasn't a bad film, but the sequel wasn't that great, but it wasn't a bad film because, but it sucks because the first one wasn't that great of a film, even if that, therefore making it good. You see what I'm saying when you say all that, it makes not a lot of sense. I mean, if this is, look, I do have nostalgia to the first Predator film and also the sequel, and I can see why people have nostalgia to the first Predator film. It looks very beautiful, I will admit, and looks what I would imagine that the aliens and Predators worlds collide. But it just puts utter nonsense, and you have to wait for, I think, like at least the halfway point for the Predator and the alien actually encounter each other and start fighting. The film's not engaging, but it's engaging the way the last Predator movie is, called The Predator. It's engaging, but it's very, very stupid engaging. So, yeah. So, where was I? Yeah, now I remember. So, anyway. I'm thinking if this is all I need to say. I just want to say, if you truly love this, if you really hate Requiem, Alien vs. Predator, which is a sequel, and love the first one, ask yourself this: is this the Alien vs. Predator movie that has taken over a decade? Keep in mind. Yeah. Now I want to hear. Now I want to hear, like, let's say I'm talking to someone. Well, you're talking to someone, so let's go in. So okay. Keep in mind this film when it came over, it's a little over. Before the film was made, it took over a decade to start making this, and to bring the film to life. So, let's say you was someone that was around when Predator 2 came out, and the whatever it was, the alien film that came out, whatever number they were on when Predator 2 came out, the sequel to Predator. Let's say you want to see, you guys imaginary agent after seeing Predator 2 of the aliens one day fighting each other versus the Predator. Is this honestly what you imagine the Alien vs. Predator film to be like in every way? No. It cannot say, oh, except for the PG-13 rate. No, it has to be every single thing. Does this please you? Honestly, if you love this film, does this please you? Is this the Predator movie for Alien vs. Predator film of your dreams? Because I know it's certainly not of my dreams. And I want you to ask yourself this, and since I can't, this is just a recording, I can't really listen to you. So yeah, just imagine I am. So yeah. Now the reason why is because the reason why I'm giving this a 7 out of 10 is for that reason. This is not the Predator film I always dreamt of since I saw Predator 2, and when it was kind of when it made a canon, when the first Predator, when Predator 2 said, gave us hints that the aliens from the Alien franchise exist in the same continuity. So yeah. Now, Alien vs. Requiem. I'm Predator vs. Requiem. I'm Predator vs. Alien Requiem. That I'm getting a 10 out of 10, even though I already reviewed it. Because it was fun, consistent from beginning to end.